back here. Some of the 64 characteristics, not just for hypos, but the hood hinges of this time period were painted black. They're not natural. You see these are the originals on here, the July 11th stamping date for these. Moving down here, you can see the 64.5 style horns that are mounted on the lower frame. The voltage regulator here with this is a new old stock cover. It's an original Ford. This is the original voltage regulator that was in the car, along with that noise suppressor for the radio there, this guy, that little thing, and also this little relay. So the horn relay, pretty cool deal to have this many original parts on a car this old. But I restored them, and came out really nice, and they still work. There's the other horn. Again, the horns were in just remarkable condition on this car, as so many things were, because it was very well taken care of. And then it was, once it was bought by the gentleman who bought it in 1972, and then he did, like as I said in the Jay Leno video, a light restoration on it. And he had it for many years and always garaged it, and then after that it was always in private collections. So the car survived very well with many of the parts that don't usually survive. These original hypo shocks on here, pretty cool part. Again, you don't see those very often anymore. And then this, you can see the brake pressure activated brake switch on the master cylinder here. It's got that kind of a brown Bakelite finish with the Ford script logo on it. Again, a really cool part. It's an NOS unit that I was able to find. So let's go over here. And you notice the larger pulley here on the generator. The whole idea here with having that larger pulley is to not overspin the generator at high RPMs. But one of the other things about this is it really puts a lower limit on what you can idle this thing at, because if you go too far below, or you don't keep it pretty close to the spec 750 RPMs at idle, you'll actually see the lights dim on the car. So the negative effect of having that larger pulley on there is that you can't lower the idle speed by a whole lot. It does have to idle a little higher. And anyway, toward what the spec says. Kind of another interesting thing about these cars is one of those touchy things. Up here, what everyone would say, oh, that's a San Jose radiator. Well, this is what some of the early hypos got, and the story behind that is in the book. I've only seen these with a couple of different date codes. This one happens to have a May date on it. Pretty cool part there too. Again, very hard to find. And then the original exhaust manifolds. Those are the ones that were on the car when it was born. And then down here, you can see that's a new old stock H pipe. That car has a new old stock exhaust system, complete, everything, intermediate pipes, the resonators, the transverse muffler in the back, and all of the original hangers that were on the car when it was born. We were able to salvage those original hangers and restore them and put them back on the car, which I love stuff like that. And then here's one of those interesting things. You see the Paint K sticker, or Paint K stamp that was recreated from the original ones that were on the car. We actually created a stamp for that and re-stamped it where it was stamped. But one of the cool things, I think, for this car is that piece of, a lot of people call it dum-dum, that black sealer, has actually still got the fingerprint of the guy that pressed it into it on the day the car was survived, or the day the car was manufactured. And it's a pretty neat detail. When I was looking at the car, going over it first, I noticed that this paint in this area towards on the cowl here and just below the seal, it had never been painted. It was original paint, so this whole area was untouched. And so I decided when I pulled those out of there, even though they'd kind of hardened and whatever, that I would try and salvage them. And I think that's one of the cool little details about about the car, and things that, you know, survived because people did a really good job of taking care of it. And I'll move on to some other things here shortly. Enjoy.